Okay, so again, a few little things that can be a little confusing, I understand. All right, so I'll kind of walk you through these things. If we do a good job today, and you understand all the trig, then tonight's worksheet is no different. They just put it in kind of word problem. And the easy part is that the only thing you have to know is the angle of elevation, angle of depression, which is very easy also. But you have to understand the only thing this affects is right triangles for now. All right? In the future, you'll be able to cover all triangles using trig, but right now it's just right triangles. All right? So let's take a look at this right here. First of all, I would hope everybody would just divide by what?
3.
Divide by 3. So I'd want you to say this is 5, 12, and 13. And that will prevent you from having to round. Okay? So over here on your triangle now, well actually, or what we'll do is we'll go ahead and now put it over here so we can see it better. L is 5. M is 12. And N is 13. Okay?
Does this affect what you get in the end?
No, that's why we do it. Right? Because they want you to say what the sine, cosine, and tangent of L are. So remember, I had to explain, or I tried to explain to somebody today, it is a ratio. So the ratio will reduce. That's why it would be just easier to just reduce it first. Then you don't have to reduce 6 fractions. You don't have to reduce any fractions. All right? So in this case, if we want the sine of L, remember, opposite over hypotenuse. So the opposite of L is 5 over 13. Cosine of L is equal to 12 over 13. And tangent of L, 5 over 12. All right. Now, somebody brilliantly this morning said, I got all angles equal. Right? That's what it's supposed to do. Because it doesn't matter what trig function you use, you should get the same what? Angle, because the triangle didn't change. So angle L actually worked out to be what? About 22.6 degrees. So what I'm trying to show you is that to find angle L, the measure of angle L, we could have used any of those trig functions. Does everybody see what we're trying to say now? That should help you understand a little bit better. It just so happens that we have all 3 sides this time. Do we need all 3 sides? No. We only need what? 2 sides. If you have 2 sides, you can figure out what the angles are. All right? Now, if I want the sine of M.
Can't you just...
You do the cosine of L.
Sine of M is 12 over 13. Cosine of M,
5 over 13.
5 over 13.
Tangent is the
12 over
reverse reciprocal. Or is the
Yeah, this is reciprocal. Girls. Come on, I want to hear. You're interrupting. The stern. You're not hearing me. I can tell. All right?
on like a standardized test to save time, if you have to find both, could you just like
Yes,
find
90
the-
minus the
90
answer.
minus
Yeah, of
20?
course. This is just teaching you the relationships. That's all.
Okay.
All right, we got lots of work still to do to figure out the answers.
Yeah.
All right. What now, Miss Fair? What?
I was wondering how you got the what's called degree.
So you do inverse sine.
Yeah. Times
Second
5.
sine. Just listen. Hit the second button and then sine. And then type in 5 divided by 13. Then hit enter. All right? We'll get to that though. All right. Now, on number 3, Here's what you're supposed to write down on your paper. Listen carefully. Number 3, I used to tell my kids to circle the 3 things that you have. The angle. This is the opposite, and this is the adjacent. That's how I know I'm using tangent. So you would say the tangent. After you write a trig function, you write the angle. If the angle is unknown, you put the letter. If the angle is known, you put in the angle. Equals x over 11. Now, some kids find it easier just to think of it as a proportion and cross multiply and divide. For you guys, I'd hope you just say, well, I'm just going to multiply both sides by 11. And so x is approximately 11 times the tangent of 64. Notice I did not say inverse tangent. You use inverse sine, inverse cosine, and inverse tangent when you're looking for the angle. Yeah, hopefully you're listening to me, guys.
Inverse angle, regular.
When you're trying to find the angle, you use inverse sine, inverse cosine, and inverse tangent. All right, that's why it's important when I say when you write a trig function, after you write the trig function, you have to write the what? The angle in there. You can't just have tangent without having a what? Angle. All right, hopefully you understand what I'm saying. And so what was 11 tangent 64?
22.5.
About 22.5 or 22.6. And again, I don't argue over decimal places. All right? Everybody happy with that? All right. So now, just to make sure here, please, everybody looking at number 4. Hey, come on, Grace. Just let me know if you need something. I don't want her telling you. Same reason why I didn't want Alyssa and Hayden talking. It's interrupting. I want to help. That's what I'm here for. All right, number 4. Again, I don't think it's necessary for us, but those are the 3 things. You identify what they are. This is the adjacent, and this is the hypotenuse. Does everybody agree? So the trig function with the adjacent and the hypotenuse is, so we do cosine 29 equals x over 29. So x equals 29 cosine 29. And somebody tell me what that is approximately?
25.3.
25 point what?
3.6.
All right, I don't care. Remember, we're not arguing. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what happens when you like hit cos, tan, and sine? Like, are they different?
Okay.
What's the formula?
So here, I didn't do a very good job explaining. So listen. So when you go next year, or you go to high school, when somebody asks you, what does cosine mean, what does sine mean, and what does tangent mean, here's what I want you to tell them. It's a ratio. That's all it is. The cosine is the ratio of the opposite, or did I say sine or cosine? Cosine is the ratio of the adjacent to the hypotenuse. All right, that's what I want you to tell them. If somebody says, what's the sine is a ratio. And what they figured out, I tried to demonstrate yesterday, was the ratio of the opposite over the hypotenuse is always exactly the same for any 29-degree angle that you draw. Everybody hear me? Right, that's how powerful it was. All right, because it allowed people a long time ago, they figured out what these ratios were, and they could measure things very precisely. All right, so again, it's just a tool now that will help you figure out missing sides of missing triangles, or help you find out the missing angle for the missing triangle. So we don't need the compass anymore to measure, or we don't need the protractor to measure the angles anymore. All right, if you understand trigonometry. All right, now what they did was they had all of the angles and all of the ratios in a table before we had calculators. right? So when I was in high school, we had to actually flip to the back of the book, and you would look up tangent of 29 degrees, and it would give you the decimal to 4 or 5 decimal places, right? But now we don't have to do that because the calculator has everything stored. So the calculator is just kind of reading a table, essentially, all right, and giving you that answer. Yes.
How do you solve it without the table or a calculator? Is it?
You would have to, that would be something you would have to know. That's what I'm saying. People don't know. Yes, there are ways to figure out what it is now. 100% correct, because they've just advanced along. That's why they have pre-calculus. That's the study of all of this. It's fascinating, all right? So again, in just our terms, to the very basic, that's essentially what it is. But this right now only applies to what? Right triangles. Eventually I'll have formulas for all triangles, all right? So you can figure it out, all right? But right now we just have this, all right? You may have any questions with that. All right, let me, hold on one second. All right, let's just go ahead and do number 5 together. Is that good?
Well, I just had a question really quickly.
About what?
Why did you put a cost before, or why did you put a 29 before cost and number 4, but you didn't put an 11 before tangible, whatever it is, and number 3? Oh wait, you did.
All right, number 5, here we go. So again, I just like to show you the 3 things that we have. And X down here is the what? Adjacent and hypotenuse. So again, this is just the what?
32.
Right? So it'd be the cosine of 41 is equal to X over 32. So X is 32 times the cosine of 41, which is approximately
24.2.
Is there also some?
Everybody okay with that? All right, let's do the next one. All right, now we're trying to figure out angle B. So 14 and 8 represent, so we're going to use a tangent, exactly. So I want you to write tangent of B is equal to 14 over 8. Is everybody good with that? You can reduce it if you want, but is it necessary? No, because your calculator is going to do the work. So what you would say here is, now, here's what I want you to do. B is equal to, that's right, inverse tangent of 14 over 8. Now, those of you guys put 7 over 4, good job. It doesn't matter, though. All right, so the angle is approximately what?
60.3.
About 60.3 degrees, we'll say. Everybody good? Now, the other thing I want to show you right now is
Do you have it on the right side? Did you change it from radius, radi, whatever things to degree?
now listen, one last thing here. In some trig books, you're going to see arc sine, arc cosine, and arc tangent. All right? That just means inverse also. All right? Instead of doing the inverse to the -1, it could be ARC. Is everybody hearing me?
Yes.
All right? So again, I'm just showing you the different symbols. Some books, if you open up a book, it'll say arc cosine. Some will say cosine to the -1. It means the same thing. All right? So I'm pretty good with that. Let's go ahead and jump on number 8 just for a quick second. I'm still looking for B, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking for B. I have this and I have this.
Adjacent and hypotenuse.
So first of all, right off the bat, this is the hypotenuse, correct?
Yeah, it's cosine.
It has to be cosine. Grace, do you see that? I jumped to number 8. You with me?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So we would say, and this right here is the adjacent.
So 7 over 39.
So cosine of B is equal to 7 over 39. So B is equal to the inverse cosine of 7 over 39, which is
79.7.
about 79.7, and it's a degree. All right. Pretty good with that. All right. Now, after all this, all right, what's the height? I mean, I don't have to read it,
31.
right? So this is what they're missing, correct? So then we have opposite and adjacent, correct?
I got 30.
So let's see. So we're going tangent of 36 is equal to x over 43. So x is equal to 43 tangent 36. And what's that, guys?
31.
31.241.
About
But it wants
31.2.
the nearest meter, so it's 31.
All right. Anybody have any questions or concerns with the trig now? Anybody have any questions or concerns? Grace, you feeling almost there?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I need everybody to understand when somebody says sine, cosine, or tangent, that's a ratio. All right. That's what you're looking at. All right. You're looking at a ratio. All right. Now, do me a quick favor and pull up 8.5. All right, here we go. Listen up, please, now. All right, now, it's important to listen right now because, in my opinion, the angle of depression is wrong. All right? Now, the reason why I say that is just because that's where all the mistakes occur. All right? So listen to me. If you're standing and you look up, that creates an angle of what?
Elevation.
Oh, yeah.
Which is obvious. Not even arguing with you on that. All right? Now, the angle of depression is the same as the angle of elevation.
Down?
You're looking down, correct? But here is the mistake that everybody makes. To me, I would want this to be the angle of depression. Does everybody agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the triangle that is formed. Listen to what I'm saying now because this will save you a headache. All right, if somebody says the angle of depression, this angle of depression right here is how I thought it would be.
But it's from the horizontal.
But it's always read from the what? The horizontal.
What's that squiggly line?
A cliff.
Oh.
Now, let me explain to you. Let me try to explain to you how that kind of made sense. Is because if you have two parallel lines cut by a transversal, and you were looking at the right angle, it kind of makes sense that this angle of elevation is always going to equal the angle of what? Depression.
Because they're alternate.
Because they're alternate interior angles. So listen to what I just said now. Make sure you understand that. A lot of kids on the test in the past, when I ask them about angle of depression and they draw the picture themselves. I want you to just listen to what I'm saying. A lot of kids make a mistake and think that's the angle of depression. Is everybody hearing me? Don't make that mistake. When somebody says angle of depression, generally what I do is I automatically go down here and make it the angle of elevation.
Shows the opposite.
Because, why? Because this now
There.
is in the triangle. Is everybody hearing me? Now, if you wanted to come over here and draw this way, and now this right here makes more sense. If I'm talking about this triangle right here. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. But what's true about the top triangle and the bottom triangle? They're exactly the same. That's why the angle of elevation is equal to the angle of depression. Is everybody hearing me? Now, if you know that, and you know last night's homework, there's nothing different. Absolutely nothing different. It's just a matter of set up the right triangle, put down the numbers that they give you, and figure out what they're trying to ask using sine, cosine, and tangent. That's all there is to it. Very basic, very simple. All right, you good? You still got a question?
Yeah. What if you just like look straight forward?
Well, no angle is created.
So that there's just nothing.
Zero. Right. There's no triangle created.
There's a line.
Right. And eventually you'll get into it where this right here is the initial, and this we call as the terminal. All right? So if you just have this part right here, no angle is created. Right? So you have to look up or you look down. Then you create your angle. And your angle is always measured off of the horizon or the horizontal. Exactly. All right, so let's try a couple of these. So again, personally, I almost just crossed all these out. Why is it pointless? Because they give you the picture. Does everybody see what I'm saying? I really don't even have to read the problem. Does everybody hear me?
Yeah.
All right. But again, on your test, I'm not going to have all the pictures drawn. You're going to have to draw them. All right, to understand the question. All right. But I left them in here right now just so you kind of get a picture of what they're saying. All right. Tomorrow, all the pictures won't be there. All right. So in this particular case, I would like to just do 1, 2, 3, 4, and I just like to set up the equation. All right. We don't have to solve it right now. So in question number 1, I'm looking for the height of the cliff. So if I'm looking for the height of the cliff, what trig function am I using? So we would say tangent of 49 is equal to x over 400. Again, I don't care what the answer is. I'm just caring whether or not you can set it up. All right? Now, I'm trying to find the angle of what? Elevation. Does everybody see that? This is the angle of elevation. So I'm going to use, now, what I'm hoping you can do right now is just say I'm going to use inverse tangent. Right? So I want you to say x is equal to the inverse tangent of 12.5 over 18. Now, if for some reason you don't know this, you can let me know. Anybody have any issues with that? Yes.
What is the point of using the inverse of like the tangent and everything?
To find the angle. So type it on your calculator so you can see what I mean. So do an inverse tangent
34.
of 12.5 over 18.
Oh, yeah.
So it gives you the what?
Angle.
It gives you the exact angle. If that's 12.5 and that's 18, that's the exact angle. All right? So now, again, this is obviously talking about an angle of what? Depression. So I would just come down here and write the x there. All right? Because they're equal. All right? So now in this case, I'm talking about a what? I don't think so.
Cosine. Wait, which is the 1,000 yards, the dotted line or the hypotenuse?
Well,
They're
the
parallel.
hypotenuse.
Okay. Hypotenuse and hypotenuse.
Now, again, and that's actually a good question, what you just said, because that's where you would have, we should read the question, right? So it says a ski run is 1,000 yards long. Does that make sense? So yes, so you're skiing down the mountain. So from here to here was 1,000. You hear what I'm saying? I just was lazy, didn't read the question. Right, but you're right, it could have been 1,000 feet from the base. All right, so you have to read. All right, so now in this case, it's just what? X equals inverse sine of 208 over 1,000. Yes.
Can you explain why you just knew how X was down
How I knew what?
there? X was down there.
Because this is the angle of depression, and those angles are equal. Because they are alternate interior angles. They're alternate interior angles. All right? Just like over here, this is 19 degrees, so instead I would just put a what? 19 degrees right there. And this is X. And now I have this, and I have this.
It's tangent of 19.
All right, so we would say tangent
Or 120 over.
Right, now some kids, for whatever reason, I mean, I would want you guys to just say, I don't know how, honestly, here's what my thought is. I don't know how you don't know that that's x is 120 over tangent of 19, but some kids have a hard time seeing that. Somebody else have a hard time seeing x is 120 over tangent of 19. Exactly right. So what we're doing is, please pay attention, I'm moving the x over, right? And then I'm doing what? Dividing by tangent. You should see that. Right? If you don't like that, you can say you're going to cross multiply and divide. Right? But I would prefer you do it like I just showed you. All right, does everybody understand what I'm saying now as far as the angle of elevation, all right, and the angle of depression? All right, how much more time do we have?
Yeah, 16 minutes.
16, okay, perfect. All right, so here we go. Now, I have number 1 on the next page. All right, scroll down to number 1 on the next page. All right, now this one is a little bit more difficult. The reason why it's a little bit more difficult is because I can't just find x or y. The reason why I can't find x or y, because if I take the tangent of 60, it's x over y, and I have 2 variables. Everybody with me on this? Right. So, again, very simple task. All right. I'm going to solve for x and y. All right. Now, what I want to demonstrate is this first. Did we see how this is a right triangle? All right, not a big deal. Right. So what I want you to do is I want you to consider this right here. Is 10 plus y. Did I agree with that? So we can say now that, and here you got to listen now, tangent of 25 is equal to x over 10 plus y. Everybody good with me so far? I'm just asking you if you agree with that.
I just don't get without changing.
Nothing yet. Nothing yet. All right, I'm just asking you, can you see the ratio? Tangent of 25 is equal to x over 10 plus y. All right? Then I want you to say tangent of 36 is equal to x over y. Do we agree with that?
Yeah.
No trouble, right?
36.
Now, this is now just a system of equations. And I'm going to show you exactly what I want you to do. What?
Would you quickly do
For which one?
to get from the 10y to
There are 2 right triangles that I'm looking at.
Uh-huh.
So the one with a 25 degree and
okay.
the one with 36.
Yeah.
So the tangent of 25 is x over 10 plus y. So now, what I want to do now is I want you to tell me that you agree that x is equal to y times the tangent of 36. Everybody agreeing with that? That's right. So I'm concentrating on this right here. All I did was I multiplied both sides by what? Y. Do you agree with that now? Okay, so now I'm going to take this right here and wherever I see an x, I'm going to put what?
Y.
Oh, we did something like that.
Y tangent 36. So see how this x right here?
So the tangent of 25 equals
That becomes what? Y tangent 36. So now what I want you to do is I want you to write tangent of 25 is equal to y times the tangent of 36 over 10 plus y. Is everybody okay with that? All right, please stay with me.
You cancel the y out?
So now, tangent
No, this one's got it.
of 25 times 10 plus y equals y times the tangent of 36. Anybody have any issues with that? Anybody have any issues? All right. Now I want someone to put on their calculator tangent of 25. And tell me what that is.
0.466.
All right, 3 decimal places is good for math. Then I need someone to do the tangent of 36.
0.726.
You got to stay with me now. Anybody have any questions with that? Now, please listen because I'm trying to make you better at just your understanding numbers. I could distribute the 0.466 or I could just do what? Divide it. Everybody agree? Look, a little unconventional, but look, because we're using calculators, we might as well just go ahead and divide. Everybody okay with that? So now, 10 plus y is equal to, what's 0.726 divided by 0.466?
1.557.
Now, 1.557.
What? So now you can actually
Subtract y.
10 equals.
Everybody agree?
Well,
Come on now, speak
oh,
up.
yeah.
Speak up.
Wait,
Well, then why would the y still be
Why
there?
would y still be there?
Yeah.
Why did the 1 go?
Come on, guys. 1y
1y.
and 1.557y. If I say 1.557y minus 1y, I get 0.557y.
Oh.
You're just combining terms. You're combining terms. And then I divide both sides by 0.557. So y
17.9.
is approximately, what did you say?
17.9.
Approximately 17.9. I don't care if you get 18. I don't care if you get 17.86. You're right around there somewhere. All right, you have a calculator, so you should be pretty precise. All right?
Do you want?
No, I don't want anything yet. All right, so I now know what y equals. What does x equal? X equals 17.9 times the tangent of 36. So you just take your answer and hit times tangent of 36. Bless you. And tell me what that is.
13.
13?
Exactly.
All right.
Point
So
two.
it's about 13. All right. Now, all I did was I just solved for x and y just because I wanted you to see how to solve for x and y. But we have to answer the question. All right? And the question says, how far off the ground is the hot air balloon? So the hot air balloon is what?
13. Plus 6. No, plus 6.
What?
Oh,
Plus
19.
6, 19.
13. And then plus the person's height. So we say it's roughly what? Roughly 19.
That is the most complex way to answer anything ever.
That's good.
But that's like the only way you can find it.
Right now.
Yeah.
That is true.
It seems to be like,
A
did we do
formula.
number one solve anything?
You're trying to find how tall the hot air balloon is.
Also, how's it?
Can't you just get like a table? No, it's really close to the ground, actually.
Yeah.
You might want
I mean,
to let that hold
Okay.
your fire. No.
So again, what I want you to try to do tonight, please, is the 8.5 practice. You guys, knock that out, please. All right, the 8.5 practice. You should be pretty good now at understanding exactly what they're talking about as far as the trig goes. All right, the problem we just did is a little complicated, so I would suggest that you look that over and see what we did to make sure, because I'm sure there's going to be one of those on the test. All right, positive. You're welcome.